FETO terror group's ringleader expanded his power base by using education as the main tool of infiltration. He opened hundreds of schools, education centers, and student dorms, not only in Turkey, but also in countries across Europe, Africa, and Central Asia, where many youngsters were exposed to brainwashing techniques. Many students who had been enrolled in schools controlled by FETO terror group were intended to be embedded in crucial sectors of the Turkish state, including the military, judiciary, intelligence services, and police. The other function of these schools was to provide income for the terrorist organization. Charter schools are financed with public money, but are not subject to the same monitoring as regular public schools. Head of FETO terror group took advantage of this system to facilitate misuse of state funds. Exploiting this aspect of the charter school system and parents' preference for a private education, FETO ringleader established a highly sophisticated organizational structure in which his followers and their activities were invisible for years. Head of FETO terror group also abused the H-1B visa program, which allows American employers to hire foreign workers with specialized knowledge so that they can immigrate to the US. FETO brought thousands of uncertified teachers with no experience from Turkey to America. Some schools controlled by FETO terror group, like the Harmony Charter School, came under scrutiny for their extensive use of the H-1B program. From 2015 to 2019, the Harmony sponsored more visas than any other elementary and secondary institution in the US. A book by the international lawyer Robert Amsterdam and his partners sheds light on irregularities at schools controlled by FETO terror group. It says many charter schools, such as the concept schools in Ohio and Illinois, bypassed fair bidding laws and colluded with shadow companies affiliated with one another for contracts for everything from school uniforms to tables and chairs. The schools also gave big contracts to associates. While we are talking about more than $5 million being circulated among 3 businesses, while just over $100,000 was paid to companies with no links to FETO.
Quite frankly, never in almost 40 years of doing investigations have I run across an organization like the Gulen organization. To say that this is an empire of deceit or deception is an understatement. Probably the largest H-1B visa scam in history, probably the largest charter school scam in history.
And there is more. School staff and sponsors were required to subscribe to FETO ringleaders' news outlets and were forced to make donations to FETO. The terror group's leader had a sizable fortune spread across various holdings and banks. His followers blackmailed politicians and bureaucrats, mounted large legal cases in Turkey, using what is now known to be fabricated evidence to jail their opponents, including senior military leaders, politicians, journalists, and judges, and took advantage of the media, businesses, schools, and NGO networks they own to manipulate FETO ringleaders' image abroad and direct international public opinion against Turkey. With these shadowy methods, FETO's ringleader has funneled millions of dollars into his terror group. When the coup attempt against Turkey's democratically elected government collapsed, the terror group's illegal operations were exposed, leading to its decline. 7 years on, the Turkish officials reiterate that FETO is not only a threat to Turkey, but to other countries where the terror group still has a significant presence.